Hello, everyone, and welcome to part 2 of Lesson 3 on how to become a voice actor this year. In part 1, I talked about the 4 genres of voiceover you should avoid, and this time we are talking about how to find your range. What's range, you say? It's the ability to be able to go through a whole bunch of different voices and a broad range of emotions. So range is definitely a good thing because it allows you to get many voices. But how do I get voices, Tategami, you say? Well, there's actually several different aspects. The first one being enunciation, second, tone, 3, pitch, 4, volume, 5, pacing, 6, emotion, 7, prolonging a word, and 8, an accent. All of these contribute to creating a voice. Let's get into why each one is important. First off, enunciation. Enunciation is paramount to creating a voice that's enjoyable to the ear. Have you ever tried to emulate how big actors' mouths have to move on a screen? Try speaking normally and comparing your mouth movements to the ones on the screen. Chances are they are much more pronounced. They do this to ensure good vocal tone and good diction. Their words cannot be mumbled or jumbled, and they need to sound crystal clear for the audience. So, yours do too. Try doing this by putting a finger or a pen sideways between your teeth and speak as clearly as possible. You'll get into the habit of doing it after several weeks. And you'll want to get the hang of it because if you don't, you're going to be doing a lot of retakes and you're going to be losing out on a lot of auditions. So definitely get used to it and work on your enunciation and diction. Next up, tone. Tone is what drives the emotion. Is it a monotonous tone? A happy tone? Or a scared tone? You cannot convey the emotion without the proper tone, even in day-to-day conversations. Find the tone that's appropriate for the situation. 3, pitch. Pitch is the high or low note at which you say a word. For instance, if I'm doing a confident tone, is it better when I pitch up when I say, "I've got this"? Or is it better if I pitch it down when I say, "I've got this"? Pitch will deliver the punch to the statement, so make your punch a good one. Volume. Volume is the loudness or the softness of a voice. A hero is probably loud, whereas a mouse is probably a little quieter if it's shy and doesn't want to be seen. Use loudness by getting further or closer to the microphone depending on what you're trying to do. Quieter tones typically get closer to the microphone. Pacing. Pacing is all about how fast or slow you guide the script. Speaking too fast can make it difficult for an audience to keep track of your words. And too slow can be boring. So you want to find the sweet spot of each character's tone and their actions to guide the speed. An action shot is probably faster, whereas a soothing bath is probably calm. Use the right speed for the right situation. Emotion. Emotion is driven by tone, so it helps to remember a time when you felt the emotion strongly and compare it to the character's experience. Is it stronger, or is it less than what the character is experiencing? Match the level of emotion, and you'll be close to the tone. Use pacing and pitch to sell the delivery of what you are trying to convey. Prolonging a word. Prolonging a word is a mastercraft done by the world's greatest word prolonger, Alan Rickman. Remember Professor Snape from Harry Potter? I can remember holding my breath and just waiting for him to get out the name Potter, like it was a cliffhanger. Prolonging a word helps create suspense. Last but not least, an accent when done right is crucial for realism. However, there are more non-realistic accents out there, like the southern accents in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? If you ever lived in the South USA, you know that some of these accents are just not what is accurate for the geographic area. But actors have honed them so well that they have become a staple in Hollywood. So get to know the good ones that sell a performance, even the ones that aren't really realistic. At the end of the day, what does it really matter as long as you sell the performance? Now, I don't expect you to remember all of these when voice acting, but just know that your regular speaking voice is doing all of these at once, all the time. So it is possible to generate a voice that does all of them. You want a good example of one voice that covers them all? Try
a pirate's voice. There be a solid chance that you don't normally sound like a pirate in public, but that accent alone changes the vocal aspects. Try it out, and try changing the tone, the pitch, the emotion, and speed at which the delivery is made, and you'll be well on your way to finding a broad range of voices that you can alter to make a voice.
Just think of this. If you can master a voice, like Captain Barbossa from Pirates of the Caribbean, then that's one extra voice you can add to your tool belt. Now, if you can change it to sound like a girl, that's a second voice. And if you can change it to a child's voice, that's a third. Now, if you take each of these voices and you change these 8 different aspects, then that's a grand total of 11 different pirate voices you just created from one voice. If you can come up with 2 different ways to do each aspect, now you have 22 different pirate voices. Well, technically 678 if you really get into the math by multiplying 2 to the 8th power, but chances are you won't want to do 768 different pirate voices, and let's face it, it's pretty much impossible to make 768 different pirate voices sound good for every single one of them. But I just wanted you to be able to see the possibilities. So, this is how you build range. So definitely try it out and try aiming for good vocal tones. Alright, with that, let's get to the homework. Your homework for this week is to pick a grand total of at least 3 genres you want to hone. And I want you to try to pick one from each separate category listed below, and practice them. The reason for this is because if one industry fails you, you can still turn to another industry as a safety net. Do not put all your eggs in one basket. You need to be able to bounce between genres if you cannot find work in another. Once you have your 3 or more genres, take the voices that you've been practicing and play around with the 8 vocal aspects I listed. If you have a voice for each, then you can now have a potential of 66 different variations of voices that you can explore and practice with. 66? Now that's the potential for a great future with just 3 good voices. If you want some fun materials on how to be able to create new voices, then be sure to check out my Patreon page where I have a character creation worksheet that gives you 100 different voice styles to choose from, where you can mix and match and be able to create new voices from a variety of different tones and personas. That's a potential of 10,000 voices you can create just off of this one worksheet. And if you apply the 8 aspects we talked about in this video, that's a potential of 80,000 different voices you can create just from my videos and this worksheet. Yep, I know I promised you only 22 voices in this video, but now you have a way to be able to get 80,000. All you gotta do is download the sheet, print it out, and cut out the different columns. Cut the individual pieces out of each column, then you can put them in a container and practice drawing random ones from each container and try to match a voice to all the aspects that you draw from. It's not just a great exercise, but it's a fun game to do with your family or friends if they ever decide to come over and ask how you get into voice acting. So if you want to take your voice acting to the next level, be sure to check out my Patreon where I got deep dives and materials now for you to jumpstart your voice acting dream. Now, if you want to deep dive into how to multiply that number even further, then be sure to check out my video on Patreon on how to find your vocal range, so you can see how it's done and you can practice it yourself. I'm Tatagami, and thank you again for watching. I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you want to continue to join me on my voice acting journey, then don't forget to subscribe to me on YouTube or join my Patreon for more videos where you can hear practice reads, blooper reels, or even my experiences of getting into voice acting. Who knows, maybe you can even join this disabled guy on his journey. Thanks again, and as always, stay safe out there.